You're not crazy. If you've been feeling like woodworking videos feel different lately, like something has shifted, you are absolutely right. Let me say something that's going to annoy at least a few people. Your favorite woodworking YouTuber is not a machine. And if you think I'm being dramatic, go look at your subscription and scroll back a few years, because I've been a YouTuber for over 5 years now, and woodworking on YouTube has changed a lot. 5 years ago, I was watching channels that either don't exist anymore or they have just stopped uploading. And at the same time, I watched other channels grow into absolute giants. So if you have been feeling like, why is every video a tool review now? Or why does everything feel like the same project over and over again? And why is there so much sponsor stuff? And why does it feel less workshop and more content machine? You're not crazy. But here is the crazy part. A lot of what you are frustrated about is happening because it works. Not because woodworkers became greedy cartoon villains rubbing their hands together over your suffering. So let's talk about what actually happened to woodworking YouTube, why it feels different now, and what you can do about it if you want your favorite makers to still be here next year. Five-ish years ago, a ton of woodworking videos were simple. You made something, you filmed it, and then you stood next to the finished piece, recorded an intro, and called it a day. It felt like you were hanging out in someone's workshop. Less marketing, less drama, less "don't buy this tool until you see this" energy. And honestly, that's why a lot of us fell in love with this niche. Most people started channels because they wanted to share skills, connect with like-minded people, and maybe earn a bit from affiliate links to fund more wood and more mistakes. And I know some of you watching right now have thought about starting a channel too, because you look around and think, there are too many ads and everything feels the same, and it's all about tools and clickbaity titles and annoying music and unnecessary drama. I can do better than this. I hear it from viewers like you. And I also hear this from other creators. And they say stuff like, it's really hard to break through all the noise. All the negativity is exhausting, and people expect production quality like it's Netflix. And it is hard to stay motivated alone. And it takes forever to make one video, and the numbers really don't justify it. So what changed? Well, a bunch of things. But the big one is probably this. YouTube started rewarding quantity, speed, and attention more than craft. One recent change is that YouTube home screen has now changed to show only 2 or 3 long-form videos and added 10 shorts instead of showing 6 to 8 long-form videos. And that creates a very special kind of pressure. Here's a stat that should make everyone calm down in the comments for 5 seconds. A creator burnout survey found that around 90% of creators reported burnout, and a big chunk considered quitting because of it. That's not woodworking specific, that is just being a creator on the internet in general. But woodworking channels absolutely live inside this reality too. So when a woodworking channel disappears, it's usually not some dramatic conspiracy. Sometimes it is burnout, and sometimes it's life, and sometimes it's money. Sometimes they just wake up one day and realize that their hobby turned into a job, and now they hate that hobby or job. And woodworking in particular is a brutal niche, because what we do is expensive and time consuming. You can't just whip up a quick build video like it's a reaction channel. A build video can take design and planning for a long time, buying wood, which costs real money, building, which takes a lot of time, and filming, which slows you down a lot, and editing, which seems like it takes forever, and doing a voiceover and music and thumbnail and title, upload, comments, emails, sponsor negotiations, and then you do it again next week like a happy little robot. It's usually a one-person operation. One brain, one body, and one camera on a tripod. One guy forgetting where he put the pencil for the 700th time. So when viewers say, why don't they upload like they used to? Sometimes the answer is because they're trying to not mentally implode. Let's talk about the elephant in the shop: money. Some viewers act like it's morally corrupt for a creator to earn some money, which is interesting because Walnut doesn't accept exposure as payment. Making videos cost money, tools cost money, wood cost money, and electricity cost money. Time is money, as you know. And yes, sponsorships can be annoying if they are shoved in your face in a weird way. But here's the part that people don't want to admit. A lot of woodworking channels would not exist without sponsors and affiliate links. The real problem isn't creators making money. The problem is the uncomfortable reality that YouTube often pays more for certain kinds of videos, and that pushes creators into making those videos, even if that is not why they started. Which brings us to this is one of the biggest complaints I hear. Eventually, every woodworking channel becomes a tool review channel. And I get it. I really do. But imagine this. You spend 2 weeks building a beautiful cabinet. You film it, you edit it, you upload it. It does fine. Then you make a faster video, 1 tool, 1 problem, and a quick fix. And it gets way more views. What do you do next? If you're trying to keep the lights on, you learn the lesson that YouTube just taught you. Make more of what gets watched. That is not greed, that is just survival. Now, do I think that tool review only channels are sustainable forever? Honestly, for most people, it's not. Because watching new tool you need right now every week or every day eventually becomes pretty boring. And I don't think that kind of video builds an audience. But here's my take. Tool reviews can be valuable when the creator actually uses the tool, not just unboxes it like it's a shiny new toy and reads the specs. A review after months of use, that's helpful. But the bigger point is, if creators are turning into tool channels, it is often because the tool videos are faster. Tool videos are cheaper than full builds, tool videos perform better, and tool videos attract sponsors easier. So if you don't like that direction, here comes the provocative line. Stop rewarding it with your watch time, because this is the part that's going to spark some comments, but I think it needs to be said. If you watch 3 tool videos but click off 2 build videos and then comment, why is everything tool videos now? That is like eating the entire cake and then yelling at the bakery. YouTube learns from behavior. What you watch is what you'll be served more of. And that applies to you as a viewer, and it applies to creators trying to figure out what to make next. So yes, content can get repetitive. And yes, it can feel like everyone's copying everyone. But there is a reason for that too. I hate this trend, I truly do. But it is happening because creators are basically being trained to do it. A lot of YouTube growth advice basically says, find something that worked for someone else. Make your own version, tweak the thumbnail, tweak the title, and repeat. And suddenly, one project viral, and a week later you see 6 different versions of it from different creators. And of course also woodworking is an ancient craft. We are not exactly operating in a niche where nobody has ever built a cabinet before. So standing out now is less about inventing a brand new project and more about personality and storytelling and doing it your way. That's why when I started out, I loved watching a mix of channels. Blacktail Studio, back when he was only one guy with one phone, and Mike Farrington, who's just insanely skilled and calm and clear in his explanations. And of course some John Malecki and April Wilkerson, and also some of my personal favorites, Dynamate from Australia and the Swedish Maker from Sweden, Advoco Makes from Russia and the Nordman from Latvia. Different styles, different pacing, different personalities. That was what made it fun. And that is what makes it worth protecting now. So when you see a new video pop up from your favorite creator, it is easy to think, nice, new video, I'll watch that at some point, maybe. But behind that upload is always the idea, the build, the filming, the editing, the voiceover, the thumbnail, the title, the stress, the self-doubt, and also the comment section roulette. And then some guy shows up in the comments and types your music and some ugly emoji. Or I'm a master carpenter and I would never do it like that. Or you are a sellout. Or this is clickbait. Meanwhile, the creator is sitting there thinking, I just wanted to make a thing out of wood and share it with people. That constant drip of negativity, it adds up. So yes, some creators pivot into safer videos. Yes, some burn out. And yes, some disappear. And that is why I made this video. Here is the heart of it. If there is a certain type of woodworking you love on YouTube, go support it on purpose. Not in a vague, oh, I hope they keep uploading way. In an actual measurable way that helps the channel survive. Because YouTube responds to signals, and the strongest signals are watch time. So find one of the longer videos, put it on while you're making dinner or while you're in the shop sanding. Long videos in the background, they count more than you think, and they matter. And also in the comments, not just first or a fire emoji, write a real sentence. Like, I needed this today, or that jig idea was genius, or I'm stealing this clamp setup, or I missed this style of video, please do more of them. It can take you 10 seconds, but it can keep someone motivated for weeks. And go share it. Send it to a friend who's into woodworking, or post it in a group, or text it to your brother-in-law who keeps pretending he's going to build a table one day. And most importantly, stop hate watching. If you don't like a style of video, don't click it just to see, because the algorithm does not understand irony. It only understands clicked, watched, engaged. So if you want old school YouTube woodworking to come back, you can't act like a modern doom scroller who consumes everything and supports nothing. You have to act like the kind of viewer that built old YouTube. Present and supportive and actually engaged. Because creators don't quit when they are not passionate anymore. A lot of them quit when the math doesn't add up anymore. And that is emotionally, financially, mentally and creatively. And you don't know which video is going to be the one where they go, I can't do this anymore. So here is what I want you to do. In the comments, name one woodworking creator you think deserves more views. A smaller channel, a hidden gem, someone you don't want to lose. And then do this. Pick 3 creators you like this week. Watch one full video from each. Leave one real comment. And if you can, share one of them. And that's it. Because you can't take it for granted that videos will just keep coming forever. If you want makers to keep making, you have to show up like you actually want them there. And if you're a creator watching this thinking, yeah, it is getting harder, you're not crazy either. So before we wrap this up, let me address the one thing that I can already see in the comments. Yes, I'm using a lot of Festool in this video. And yes, I know that annoys a lot of people. Some of you see a green tool and your brain immediately goes, he's been swallowed by the toolmongers. But, here is the boring reality. I bought Festool long before Festool ever knew who I was. I started out with basically nothing. Old tools, a handsaw and a lot of optimism. And then, like every woodworker, I went on the same journey most of you go on. You build a thing, you struggle for a time, you upgrade one tool, you make a little money from your projects and you upgrade more tools. And then someday you realize that you are spending a lot of time making things and your health and your safety becomes more important. That's woodworking. It's not a moral failure, it's just progress. And when Festool asked me to be an ambassador, I said yes, because honestly, it felt like an honor. It felt like something that I had been working toward for some years. Not because I suddenly woke up and decided to become a walking advertisement, but because I genuinely used the tools for a long time. And I would never back something up that I wouldn't buy or use regardless. But I also read comments like this. A guy told me that he had been watching me from the beginning, but now that he noticed that I own a domino, he can't support me anymore, and he would unsubscribe. I don't know if he did, but fair enough. It is his button, he can press it. But also, I bought that domino in 2022, so either he wasn't paying that close attention, or the domino only becomes offensive when it ruins the story that he had in his head about who I was allowed to be. So here is what I actually want. I want this channel to stay relatable, no matter if you are using a rusty handsaw or a full-blown spaceship of a workshop. I just want to motivate you to get building. And because tools don't make you a better person, they just help you build more things. And building more things is kind of the whole point. And I'm still a guy who just loves to do woodworking with an axe. And this also ties into what YouTube is turning into right now. It feels like YouTube is pulling in two different directions at the same time. On one side we have shorts. That is fast, vertical, loud, swipe type of content. That's great for discovery. And on the other side we have the long form on TV. Big screen, living room, slower pace, actually settling in and watching. And it's weird because it can feel like the normal 10-minute video is dying. And honestly, I think it is. Like you're supposed to make either tiny vertical snacks or go full cinematic, 30+ minutes, horizontal, slow builds, real storytelling. And honestly, woodworking fits the big screen long form world. A slow build video, good sound, nice shots, calm pacing, that is perfect. Put it on the TV while you live your life content. And if shorts helps people find the channel and long form helps people actually connect with it, that's not the end of the woodworking YouTube. That is just the next version of it. And it might not be that bad. Also, yes, this is technically a video where I'm just making some planter shelves for my wife. And some people will absolutely say, I would totally click on a video titled "Making planter shelves for my wife." No, you wouldn't. That video would die at 200 views, get buried, and only be remembered by me and by my wife, because she would remind me of it like forever. So instead I took a boring build video and turned it into a video about something else, some drama you would say. But also not really, because at the end of the day it is still the same thing. A guy in a workshop trying to make something nice and trying to keep showing up. So if you want more of this kind of content on YouTube, you already know what to do. Watch the long form videos from your favorite makers. Leave a real comment on their videos and support the makers that you want to keep. And remember, make a comment on this video naming a woodworking channel that you think deserves some more attention, because none of us are guaranteed to be here forever.